Hey there, Cube Snappers. This tutorial is dedicated to all of you that are having trouble getting CubeSnap to work for your cube. The number one reason why this may be happening is that you've taken apart your cube, be it a 3x3, 4x4, or 2x2, and put it back together randomly. If you did that, then there's only a 1 in 12 chance that you put it back in a way that it can be solved. So really try to think back and try to figure out whether your cube has been tampered with by a parent, by a child, by a brother, by a sister, cousin, mother, whoever. And if it has been taken apart and the cube's not working, what you're probably going to have to do is take it apart again, but put it back together into a solved state. Okay? So we've got that taken care of. That's kind of option number one, why your cube may not be working. Option number two, let's just kind of talk about the 4x4 and 2x2 really quickly, is that your cube is not supported configuration wise, and that's only going to apply to 4x4 and 2x2. And what that means is that the different sides don't relate to each other the way CubeSnap thinks they do. So for instance, in the 2x2 and 4x4, it assumes that you have a blue, red, and white corner cube. If you do not have a blue, red, and white corner cube, this means that the colors are not related to each other the way that CubeSnap thinks, and so it's never going to be able to recognize your cube. And so even if you do have a blue, red, and white corner piece, it may be that the other three sides aren't related in the way that we think they are, and that may cause a problem. So if you are sure you're entering it in correctly, but it's still giving you a problem, and you also know that you haven't taken apart your cube, then maybe give me a few more iterations to try to figure out how to be able to kind of define your configuration with CubeSnap. And so that's going to take a little time to kind of try to figure out and make it work. So this applies not only to the 2x2 and the 4x4. So the 4x4 also, you want to look for that blue, red, and white corner cube. But what I imagine is that the vast majority of you do have the cube configured in a way that CubeSnap thinks, because that's the way most cubes are constructed. And most likely the problem is that your cube has been taken apart, or you just aren't entering in your cube in the correct way. With the 2x2 and the 4x4, it's a little more tricky than the 3x3. So I provided extra tutorials on camera entry for the 2x2 and 4x4, and you should check it out if you're still having problems with these. Okay? But however, most of you are just dealing with a 3x3x3, and if you're having a problem with a 3x3x3, then, and you haven't taken your cube apart, then you can do stuff within CubeSnap to make it work, and I want to go over and talk about that. Okay, so the first thing that might be happening, and I'm going to go ahead and doubt that this is your problem because I'm sure you've been very careful, is that when entering, you may be accidentally called an orange or red, or a red and orange, or an orange or red, and kind of swap them. In that particular case, if you've swapped every orange with a red and every red with an orange, then CubeSnap won't understand the cube and will kind of give you a certain kind of error or ask you to correct. Another situation is that you just did not enter the cube in the way that it asked you to. So for instance, it probably says, take a picture of the blue side with the yellow side facing up, orange side, yellow side facing up. If you didn't follow those instructions, then you may come to a screen that I want to show you. And this screen is most likely if your cube is symmetrical, or has symmetrical properties like this one. This one is very symmetrical. So I want to show you what happens if I don't follow the instructions. So instead of the yellow side with the blue side with the yellow side facing up, I'm doing blue side with the orange side facing up. Let's try the orange side. It asked me to do with the yellow side facing up. I'm doing with the white side facing up. Green side. Just randomly, however, take a picture of the white side and take a picture of the yellow side. And it's going to try to figure out, now it's going to notice that there are several options that the cube could be, and it's going to take its best guess. But because it knows there's several options, it wants you to confirm. Now, it's likely that you never even got that that's my cube. And what that means is that the cube you see here matches the cube that's in your hand. In that case, then just go ahead and say that's my cube and you'll be sent to the solving instructions. But what you need to do is make sure that the blue side is facing you. Or it actually gives you the instructions here. Blue side facing you and the yellow side facing up. Do what it says under here. All right, let's find the yellow side. And let's see if it matches. All right, we can see immediately here on the front side that the green edge pieces are vertical instead of horizontal. So what you can do is either tap here or tap the cube itself to rotate this front face clockwise to match what's here. All right, so I'm going to tap there, and now the front matches. I'm looking at the left. The left does not match. I need to get those red edge pieces going vertical instead of horizontal. So I tapped. And the same with the right. The top looks good, and the bottom looks good. Now, looking at the back side, you can just see here with the preview that it's good. And so here you can see that that's my cube, and it matches what you see. And then now you know that when you press that's my cube, that you will get the correct representation of your cube right there. And that's important because you want to solve your cube, not some cube that it has to guess to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and solve this just for fun. Look at that, it solved it in 6 steps, very good. But now, if you were to have entered it in following all the instructions, you would have not gotten that result at all. So I want to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to take a picture of the blue side with the yellow side facing up. Just trust me that I'm following the instructions. I've done this thousands of times throughout the years that I've been developing this app. And now this time it's not double guessing because the first configuration it checked is the one that's here, and it figured out that that is a solvable one, so it assumed that you entered in your cube correctly, and you can just go ahead and start solving. So that may save you headaches if you go ahead and follow the instructions there, but even if you don't, if the cube is really mixed up, it'll probably guess your cube in the first try. Okay, so now let's say that you have entered your cube in exactly correct, and you're still having problems. Now that cannot happen because if you have already configured your cube in Cube Color Studio. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So I'm going to move away from this cube and now talk about this cube. So here is a sign that your cube is not configured in a way that CubeSnap understands. So what I mean by that is if the blue side is facing you and the yellow side is facing up, I'm going to assume you have a blue and yellow side that are close to each other. If the blue side is facing you and the yellow side is opposite, that is already a sign that you have a problem. But let's go ahead and say blue side is facing you and yellow side is facing up. The left should be orange. Oops, this one's red. The right should be red. Oops, this one's orange. And the bottom should be white. Oops, this one's green. And the back should be green. Oops, this one's white. So because the center cubes, the center squares are not situated in a way that CubeSnap expects by default, if you go ahead and try to enter in this cube, you will come across a situation that it'll never be able to solve it. So I just want to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So here it's asking you to take a picture of the blue side with the yellow side facing up. It can do that. Now it's going to ask to take a picture of the orange side with the yellow side facing up. Okay. Now it's going to ask you to take a picture of the green side with the yellow side facing up. Now this is going to be a sign that your cube is not working because, or your cube is not configured the way CubeSnap thinks it is, because if you take a picture of the green side, the yellow side is opposite, so it does not go up. So that's already a sign that it's not going to work. But let's just go ahead and take a picture of the green side the best we can. And now the red. We need to correct this. This looks like it's all red, but it's actually orange, so I need to correct it. Okay. And now let's take a picture of the white side. I'm going to take a picture of the yellow side. Okay. So here it's telling you that it cannot solve the cube, and so it's going to give you all kinds of reasons why that might be happening. So let's just go ahead and say customize the cube, because we already know here that because we looked at the instructions that the centerpieces are not related to each other the way they should be. So let's go ahead and do customize cube. All right, and this is going to be the key to your problem. It's this Cube Color Studio, and the way you find it is you go to Settings, Cube Color Studio, and there you are. All right, so here we can define in this little diagram here what your cube looks like, or what your colors look like, and also how your center squares are related to one another. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the blue. We can go ahead and make the blue look maybe a little bit darker, so we can change the colors and we can define what each center color looks like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and assume that the blue is facing us and the yellow is facing up. All right, so the yellow is facing up, blue is facing you. Now we're going to go left. Now left is not orange, it is red. So let's go ahead and make it red. And you can select here. There's even more options if you want. Or you can be real finicky with it and kind of define exactly what you think that the color looks like. I'll go ahead and make it a little bit darker. So there you go. Now we know the downside is green. Let's go ahead and make it green. This is even looking a little darker. Okay, now we're going to make the left side. It's not red, it's going to be orange. I think we can just pick that one. What do the other orange colors look like? They look a little more reddish, so let's go ahead and have the red kind of shine out in the orange. And then we have the back side, which is not green, it's white. All right, so now we have configured the cube such that when we enter it now, we shouldn't have any problems. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close and close. And now you can see here that the colors have been adjusted and we should be in good shape. So now when it gives you instructions, it should make sense. So it says take a picture of the blue side with the yellow side facing up. And one other note, if you're having trouble distinguishing the colors in CubeSnap, you can go ahead and go to Cube Color Studio and maybe make the orange look different enough from the red so that you can tell. This maybe will help you if you have certain kinds of color blindness. But let's go ahead and start the blue side with the yellow side facing up. See the yellow side facing up. All right, and so let's go ahead and make corrections. Sometimes when you reset the configuration, you need to do some retraining of the camera. Let's go ahead and call this one orange. All right, and now we have the white side with the yellow side facing up. All right, the training has worked. We're getting better results with the camera. Now orange side with the yellow side facing up. All right, call that red, very good. Now we go back to the front first and then go down. So the green side with the blue side facing up. And then the last side, the yellow side with the white side facing up. And there you have it, no more issues. You don't get that stupid little error anymore, and you are good to go. Let me prove it. There, in 7 steps we can solve it. You know, with the new algorithm, things go much quicker. Very good. Okay. So I hope that I covered every reason why the cube may not be working. So let me kind of go over the kind of main points again. So we have either you have taken apart your cube and not put it together in a way that can be solved. So that probably has happened many times with you guys. You are not entering in your cube is organized in such a way that if you do not enter your cube by following the instructions, you have to make corrections later. And hopefully now you understand how to make corrections. But even if you make all of those corrections and the error is still there, it's not giving you an option to solve, you probably need to make sure that you need to go to Cube Color Studio and make sure that the center squares are configured the way CubeSnap assumes they are. And if they're not, then you need to correct CubeSnap. So hopefully that answers all of your problems. If you still have problems after that, feel free to message me, though I'll probably tell you that your problems are one of the things that I've talked about. Though I am not opposed to you sending me pictures of your cube, so I can kind of diagnose for sure what's going on. If you do want to send me a picture of your cube, make sure you send me pictures so that I can see at least 3 sides at a time. So maybe take a picture like this, and then take a picture of the other corner like this, or like that, so I can see at least 3 sides, and I can see how the 3 sides relate to one another. Okay, so that'll really help me. Also, if you have just other issues with the app, if you're experiencing a crash or something, I'd really love to know so I can fix. And if there are particular aspects of CubeSnap that are unclear, even after this tutorial, please tell me so I can fix. And if you have, wants for additional features, then I would love to hear about it so I can maybe plan. If I hear enough of the same thing, then I'd love to add it for you guys. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, and hopefully this helped you. So goodbye.